Welcome back to Sigil of Something. We're still diving down into Compendium of Rathe, looking at every class and how the common and rares are going to impact those heroes, those classes in Sage itself. So, looking at Warrior today, the Warrior Marvel Young Hero is going to be the original Kasai, which is super cool. I know lots of heroes who played the game since Crucible of War, or even a little bit of time afterwards, have a really, really good soft spot for Kasai. Um, Very strong hero ability. So it'll be fun to see this in Marvel. And then again, we got the talented warrior cards coming in, the warrior cards themselves, and then the equipment suite. We're going to talk about the equipment suite last because that's probably the best upgrade for warriors as a class as a whole. But it is interesting with the common, with the generic warrior cards themselves. A lot of them are focused on that counter. So we're seeing a couple things with sharpen, with the cut and carve cards. So sharpen target sword, so you get that one counter already. If it has one or more, it gets dominate. So I think there's a world where um, Dory likes this card because if you're able to get counters onto your Dom Blade and then be able to set up a turn where it gets where it has dominate to be able to maybe leak in some damage or close out a game, that's very strong. The unfortunate thing about the sharpen mechanic is you remove all +1 counters at the end of the turn. So there's that give and take there with those +1 counters and with sharpen. So we're going to see how that's explored later with the Hala Armory deck when that comes out. Display of Craftsman, it's a 2 for 4. If it's been sharpened, it gets a +1 counter. Again, sharpening, that's ways to get multiple counters on. So there's some interesting things you can do with this. It is that attack reaction, so it's ways to buff up attacks, go over the top. Again, other ways to close out games that Dory may like, and then rend flesh. If you have a +1 counter, you can lose some life as you add that counter. There's ways this works, but again, you need to set up more sharpened tools. We need more sharpened tools available to us rather than just cut and carve to be able to see success with this card. Though I do think it has a place because it does force cards out of your opponent's hands if they don't want to lose that 2 life on hit. Roaring Beam is going to be a staple card for Bolton, whether that's Sage, whether that's CC. Being able to create courage tokens, Bolton really likes because it gives that +1, and then Bolton's innate hero ability being able to banish from soul to give things go again is going to be really strong rather than forcing that interaction with their opponent. I think that's one thing that Bolton struggled with for a period of time is he didn't have ways to force his opponents to care about wanting to block his attack, so it's harder for him to get that value of his hero ability, giving that +1, being able to banish, give go again, maybe finish up with a raid swing or something like that as well. Also, the secondary text, return to hero hand, then charge your soul. So that's pretty good, especially at reaction speed where you can banish a card from soul. You end up soul 0. You create that courage. This comes back to hand, and then you charge again. So some interesting things you can do there. Again, creating that courage, recharging soul. I think Smoldering still is going to be a solid card for Fang. I guess +1, and then that Fang dagger giving it technically +2, and then dealing additional damage. So ability to kind of this, 1 card 3, giving something go again, 1 card 4. And then if you have this in your graveyard, if you're going to get frostbites, whether that's from a Jarl activation, maybe in Silver Age, if Icelander becomes a little bit more popular, you can then instead banish it um, and get rid of those frostbites, which is pretty strong. Moving on to the equipment suite, this is where warriors get the biggest benefit, specifically in Silver Age, because of how they're utilizing Great Axe, which is a very, very strong card in Silver Age. All of these Unity cards, Unity, however you want to do it, have the Temper 1 default, but if it defends with a card from hand, it's going to get +1 and that card. So maybe you block with a 3, this comes up to 5, so you're blocking 5 total, and then you'll be able to swing your great axe, strip cards, leak damage, do the same thing. So this, and then you can again block with this in the future. So you're going to get 3 value off of equipment pieces, potentially 12 additional armor there. It's going to allow you to survive until that late game. Very, very strong pieces of equipment there. It's going to be interested to see how you explore this in CC. If there's ways to, again, all warriors have that opportunity to just defend with 1 card, get that temper value from where you can get that unity value where you can get it, and then go from there. But because Great Axe is such a focus in Sage at the current moment, and is so prevalent in the meta, these cards really play into that, which makes any warrior that's able to utilize all of those blues, whether that be Dory, whether that be Olympia, um, successful. And then again, each one of those heroes is going to be unique in its own right. Kasai, either version of Kasai, wants to be swinging multiple daggers. So it not necessarily going to be using Great Axe to the same degree. Bolton is probably going to want to run Great Axe as well if you're trying to make Bolton viable in the format. And same thing with Fang. Actually, pretty much any warrior should be running Great Axe. And then these equipment pieces make that even better as well. So that's Warrior in a nutshell. Hopefully you learned a little something there, and hopefully you can find success at your next Armory, ProQuest, RTN, whatever it may be in the future. Thanks.